And welcome back. I got a pad of Langton paper that I need to use up, and the particular paper I took out. Yeah, I'm gonna use Neocolor 2s and Supracolor Soft for this, both from Caran D'ashe. Pick out a few colors to start with here. So yeah, that paper, it got the stain up in the corner, so I'm gonna use some masking tape and tape it down. And I want a white border around my drawing painting, and I don't want to use that corner. So the first tape goes there, and I'm not overlapping on the edge there. I just mark off an edge, but I want the paper to stay where it is, so I let the tape go over the corners, and that way it is stuck to my table. And there we go. So yeah, this is a cellulose paper, and that presents some challenges, and we'll get to that as we work. I am starting out confident here, thinking, oh, these scribble lines, they will just dissolve when I add water. And we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, I'm trying to rub it out a little bit, and that was kind of my first clue that things might not go as planned. So yeah, I had to actually peel some paper off that particular crayon, the green one there. And I've had my Neocolors for a long time, and I have actually used them quite a lot, but they just last and last and last. I have no idea how many paintings you can do with one crayon. Yeah, and there was a little dirt on that one, so I just scribbled it off on my mat, and I'll clean that up later. But yeah, they last and last and last, so it was special to get to the point where I actually had to take some paper off. So just scribbling in some colors here for a background, thinking, oh, that's easy, and it's not. It's kind of special with this paper because when the Neocolors are dry, it actually holds on to the pigment quite well. So it was a little hard to dissolve it, so I had to add quite a lot of water. But then once the paper is that wet, it stops holding on to the pigment, and then it's very easy to create backwashes and cauliflowering and backgrounds and whatever else you want to call all the effects you can get from too much water. And as in a little bit you'll see that that yellow band gets a little bit of a pale part, and that's because the water runs off, because the paper did buggle a little bit because I added that much water. It's not something that is a problem at the end of the day, but if I wanted a perfect flat wash, I would have struggled with this because of the paper. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of a cellulose paper for watercolors. Let's just be honest about that. But with lots of water, the lines did dissolve. For the rest of the drawing, I do not try to get rid of the scribble lines. I put them down so that they're in direction and ways where I'm okay with them being where they are and how they are. So that was my first lesson in this piece. So aside from drying time, this was a fairly fast piece. I've sped this up 2.5 times. So it wasn't something that took a long time. The drying took forever. obviously not filmed all the drying time. I cut that out. I don't even. I just turn off the camera actually. Yeah, and that was how easy that scribble was. Yeah, it's kind of dry now, and it took hours. So here's the pencils, and I'm a little bit on a mission with pinks and purples and violets. I try to actually use them up, or use them at all, because I normally don't really use those colors in my work. But let's try and make some pink flowers here. And I'm working without references at the moment, as in completely without a reference. I have looked at something in some gardens I drove past and in my own garden, and then I work from memory and imagination, kind of a combination of the two. It's part of a liberate my art project I'm kind of doing. I'm trying to loosen up. I've tried that for over a year with varying degrees of success, and putting away the reference photos has actually helped, and allowing myself to create ugly art, or potentially ugly art, has also helped. So for now I'm happy working like this. It makes things faster and makes things more fun for me. It might not look as good, but let's see. It might improve over time, that part. And also work without a plan, so the compositions are off a lot of the time. It's not my strong side with compositions. I know some basic rules and stuff, and I tend to ignore them. But right now, it's important for me just to have fun. So this was supposed to be a lupin, or a couple of lupins, but it looks more like fireweed, to be honest. Doesn't matter, it's a flower. Add some water here. So if you want to work with colored pencils or watercolor pencils or lead pencils, it doesn't matter, any kind of pencil on top of Neocolors, you need to activate the crayons first. You can use Neocolors as they are dry, you don't have to activate them. But if you want, as I said, any kind of pencil on top, you need to have the layer you're going over with the pencil activated and dried before it works. If you have the crayons on there dry, they're too waxy, they won't accept the pencil on top. If there's a thick layer of dry Neocolor on there, then you'll just get kind of a, what do you call it, scraping effect. You just kind of scrape into it with your pencil. It can be something you might want to do, but if that wasn't the plan, then it's just annoying. So, but it's a very versatile combination of things. You can use both pencils and watercolor pencils and Neocolor too, or any other water soluble crayon, wet or dry. It's up to you, and you can do both methods in the same image and use it for different effects. I actually end up doing that in this one, having both the pencils and the Neocolors both on here, wetted and dried. And whenever you dry something, if you want to have any kind of detail and definition, let it dry before you add something else. You can also work wet and wet with them, but then things gets a little more fuzzy. Again, feature or bug, depends on what your plan is. I tend not to use neither Neocolors nor pencils wet and wet most times. I think I did it a little bit here. Yeah, I dipped the white pencil in the water because I wanted it very white, but it didn't work, so let's grab my white Neocolor, clean it off because it's dirty. Yeah, that was way more opaque than the pencil. The reason why my white Neocolor is in a box on the side along with the black is because when I got my Neocolors back in the day, I took the black and the white out and put them away and added 2 other colors to the set. I think it was a Prussian blue and a bismuth green that I put in there instead of those 2 colors. So even though I have started using both black and white within my Neocolors, there is no room in the box for them. So I got them in that tin with a few watercolors that are also currently homeless. So yeah, I'll leave you to it for a little bit with the background music just playing. It's a very loose drawing with very few defined details. I try to more do colors and a bit of contrast and stuff. And I hope you'll enjoy it. I'll talk a little bit at the end of this, so have fun. Okay, so here I'm starting to getting close to finishing up. I'm adding some little more shading and highlights here at the end. And it went through a few paces, this drawing, where I nearly gave up. Or is it a painting? I was not happy with it, and then I left it alone, came back, added some more things, and I actually ended up thinking it was okay. Especially once we get to the part where I peel off the tape. Now, as I said earlier, if the crayons haven't been activated properly, it's really not possible to put pencil on top, and that's the case here. There's some of those crayon parts there that haven't been activated, or activated well enough for the pencil to really go on. So if you see me scribble on something and nothing happens, that's what is going on. Trying to add some more definition to the two things in the front there. Yeah, it really doesn't work because the crayon's too thick underneath. This is not supposed to be a perfect image. It is me playing around with things, and so I'm gonna just kind of leave it at that. It's not quite how I wanted it, but I just leave it anyways. Add some stark highlights here with the Neocolor in white. It's nice and opaque and goes over things nicely. They resemble, if you have to compare them with anything, they resemble gouache more than anything really. I more and more consider them gouache in a stick. And that's also why I kind of took the black and the white back, because in the beginning I treated them a lot like watercolors, but they're too opaque. There's lots of them that has white in it. The green that is parallel to my arm there, the light green, where I peeled some paper off, that contains white, and there's a lot of other of the lighter colors in the Neocolor too, so that contains white, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just makes them opaque, and so I have accepted that fact and treat them as more like gouache rather than watercolor. And we get to the peeling part, and that goes in two stages. First, I loosen it from my desk and have things stick to it and stuff. I need a ruler and a knife. I cut that part off that I didn't want. Do it carefully. Away that goes, and we can now peel it. I could have done this real time, but I couldn't have done it as with the sound on, because I was playing music in the background, and it's not music I got any license for. So you get some background music from the sound library instead from YouTube. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.